okay? And Macaulay Culkin's father has given up his attempt to gain custody of his 6 children because he said, quote, to get the one with all the money, I'd have to take the 5 poor ones, too. Well, he didn't have a hairnet on when he said it either. Boy, the Culkins, that family self-destructed, huh? They make the Jacksons look like the Von Trapps. Now, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but we as a nation have more bad habits than a moth-infested nunnery. We are a nation of elasticized waistband, television-glued, crack-smoking, pork rind-stuffing, natural resource-hogging fat asses, aren't we, folks? Why is that? How come the French wallow in cigarettes and goose fat, drink a super tanker of wine per person at lunch, yet have so much less alcoholism, heart disease, or obesity than we do? Well, unless there's an undiscovered link between bathing and hardening of the arteries, I'd have to venture a guess that a lot of it has to do with mental attitude. America was founded by Puritans, and like it or not, the anti-pleasure dogma of those buckle-shoed killjoys still pervades our collective unconscious like an IMAX shot of Dennis Franz's naked, hairy cop ass. Hence, anything enjoyable is automatically forbidden and bad, and in our panic to avoid it at all costs, we become obsessed with it. Like dressing up in a pink chenille teddy and a pair of Ugg boots and repeatedly screaming the word verboten into a conch shell balanced on the back of a miniature pony. Oh, I see. That would be just me. Right. One characteristic that appears to be uniquely American is our complete lack of understanding of the word moderation. Is it any wonder that the same culture that came up with the all-you-can-eat dessert bar also spawned more 12-step programs than a line-dancing jury? We share an all-or-nothing mentality that creates an insatiable market for supersized fast food meals, double-crusted, double-stuffed deep dish pizzas, and dirigible-sized Cinnabons, plus gas-guzzling Winnebagos to drive the 2 fucking blocks to get all of these items. Then when we look at ourselves in a full-length mirror and think, wow, how odd, that sea cow is not only walking on dry land, but he's wearing exactly the same outfit that I am. We then go on Slim Fast and Jenny Craig and subject ourselves to the kind of deprivation that a penitent Buddhist monk would find gratuitous. Deprivation, of course, ultimately produces craving, and we're right back at square one on the crash and burn game board. Of course, human beings do not have a patent on self-destructive behavior. It shows up in nature all the time. The lemmings that are drawn to the cliff, the salmon that kills itself trying to swim upstream, and of course, the chimpanzee that rides the miniature bicycle without wearing a helmet. Hey, let's put some of America's bad habits under the microscope. The microscope. Who was that comedian who used to do the great joke about how he said they should make bars of soap hollow, so when you finish them, you won't have that little piece left? Who was that? Huh? Was that Plato or Carrot Top? All right. Vices, coffee. Coffee seems harmless enough. You start every day with a cup, maybe 7, maybe 8. But by lunchtime, you're as jittery as a chihuahua in a paint shaker. I don't know about you, but in my neighborhood, they just opened a Starbucks in a Starbucks. And coffee begat cigarettes. New evidence is showing that cigarette manufacturers may have deliberately manipulated amounts of nicotine to make them even more addictive. Cigarettes with varying degrees of nicotine make sense. Lights for times when you're just out with friends having some shits and giggles. Mediums for unexpected bills and family disagreements. Heavy for when Dennis Rodman comes to pick up your daughter. And extra heavy for when Dennis Rodman comes to pick up your son. One spiral out from smoking on the vice schematic are drugs. Now, I know that certain cultures use drugs to commune with the spirits of animal guardians and tap the wisdom of the elders who've gone before them, but not us. No, no, not us. We use drugs in much the same way a dog licks its own balls. It feels good as long as you don't stop to think about what you're actually doing. We were going to say a dog's ass, but we changed it because this is a family show. Dog balls, something the whole family can enjoy. And finally, America's most insidious and most pervasive vice are eating habits. We buy our hamburgers by the pound, our chicken by the bucket, and our pizza by the foot. You've got bad eating habits if you use a grocery cart in 7-Eleven, okay? Now, I tend to think that bad habits are an inevitable side effect of prosperity. Only when a person's waking hours aren't devoted to finding food, clothing, and shelter can there be time for extraneous activities like picking your nose and gambling. And the more you have, the more you want. And since we here in America are lucky/cursed to have the most, our need for a jolt escalates exponentially with each passing generation. This explains why every year Six Flags Amusement Park unveils yet another ride designed for one reason and one reason only: to make me shit my pants and shame myself in front of my children. As a matter of fact, I understand now that Six Flags is working on a ride where he elevated to 150 feet and then dropped headfirst onto a slab of concrete. And you just know that some Beaver Knievel kid is going to complain that there were no poison spikes embedded into the cement. As a culture, we're trapped in a vicious cycle where we're so benumbed by a constant barrage of stimuli, the only thing that registers with us is more, bigger, better, louder stimuli. Tired of pot? Try cocaine. Tired of cocaine? Try crack. Tired of crack? Try driving cross-country with Kramer and the guy from Shine. Of course, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.